Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Forza Horizon 3 speed build, this time for a car which is already extremely quick. The Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, or Sixth Element, which of course is referring to Carbon, one of the lightest Lamborghinis ever made in terms of weight. It weighs just under 1 ton. Of course it's not a production car, but still, we do have access to this car on the game and the performance therein. And the performance that this car has is pretty crazy. Now, you can't really get the full performance out of it in the S2 class. So this is, as you can see, an X tune. Now, many people that probably won't bother, but that does of course mean that you've got less opportunity to use it. Because online, for instance, there are very few X-rated races. They tend to be S2 at best. So, of course, you could repurpose the tune in some way to make it lower, but this is optimized for the X class. Now, I'd recommend having the 1500 horsepower engine conversion. I'd recommend, of course, keeping that all-wheel drive. As far as the aspiration, to get the full 1500 horsepower, of course, you need the twin turbo. I would not recommend changing the front or rear wings, because you just don't need that for a speed tune. If you want handling, of course, then go for it, but otherwise don't. As far as the rims, of course, that's down for you, or down to you even. And for the rest, you want to increase the power as much as you can, lower that weight as much as you can, and you guys know the drill by this point. Fit everything to the car which has racing in the title. So on this car that's not very much, but upgrade what you can. Now for the benchmark on this particular tune, which is incidentally on my storefront, so you can use the keywords down in the video description to find that, but as far as the benchmark goes, it's really quick. Now the top end speed isn't quite as strong as something like a Ford GT or a Bugatti EB110 or a Ferrari 458 Speciale, but it's more than quick enough to beat most other supercars. 2.3 to 60, 3.9 to 100, which is actually more impressive than the 0 to 60, and 272 flat out. Now as far as the gearbox, I would recommend a 3.2 final drive. Then for the individual gears, 3.3, 2.05, 1.45, 1.12, 0.89 and 0.73. Then for the alignment, I've gone for neutral, camber and toe. As I always say, you can change that if you want to, as with any of these settings. 4 degrees of caster. As far as anti-roll, I've got those on 23 and 37. Springs on 87, 142, and I've opted for the highest ride height, because although that is higher, it's still not that high off the ground, and it does help with bumps in the road. It helps the car not to bottom out at high speed, that kind of thing. As far as dampers, I've got those on 10, 15, 5 and 7. Aero doesn't apply on this one. And for the diff, I've actually done something slightly different, because the high-speed handling on this car can be not necessarily twitchy, but a little bit different to some of the other supercars, so I've gone for 100% on both acceleration and braking, and then we've got a 70% split in favour of the back end. Now for this one, you could take it up to 75 or even 80 if you want to, especially if you need more front-end manoeuvrability at that kind of speed, say for Goliath, for instance, going around the full track. But that's it for my tune. Of course, I encourage variation always with these builds, but now let's actually take it out on the street to see what it can do. Now, to say that this is a fast car is quite the understatement. The acceleration is fantastic, the top end speed and the top end acceleration as well is very good. The handling, of course, is great, although this tune isn't optimised for that. Now, as I said, at high speeds, the steering on this car can be a little bit kind of twitchy. It tends to want to grip hard whichever direction you point the car, and if you make some steering adjustments, you feel that very quickly. The tyres will pull to the left or pull to the right, which actually sometimes helps in traffic, but it does also encourage the car to feel a little bit heavy at higher speeds. And it's not actually a bad handling car, it just doesn't feel normal, which can kind of put you off sometimes. But if you do decide to use this tune, obviously I hope you have a lot of fun with it, and there are literally hundreds more tunes like this on the channel. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.